Hey there! Welcome to this presentation on creating healthy boundaries with social media. We'll be talking about what it is about social media that can create toxic relationships and how you can set boundaries with your social media use for a healthier and happier you. First, let us know that you're completing this presentation by filling out this QR code to mark your attendance. You can call the presentation Social Media Boundaries. So you might be wondering, why do I need to set boundaries with social media? I think my relationship with it is fine. Well, sometimes it can be hard to notice when social media is affecting our mental health. Some signs it is that it starts to distract you from your schoolwork. You find that you have to pick up your phone every time you study, you can't focus in class. That could be a sign that it's starting to affect your mental health. Or if you use social media to escape any bad emotions you're feeling. Every time you're alone with your thoughts, do you pick up your phone so that you don't really have to think about things? Another sign it could be affecting you is that you're being trolled or bullied online. This is super common and it doesn't have to happen from people we even know in real life. This can happen on any social media website and it can come from anywhere. Another way it could be affecting your mental health is that if you're spending more time online than you are with your family or friends in real life. This is to say that it's not possible to have good online relationships with friends or to have communities online. But if you find that when you are present with others, you're on your phone or you feel like you can't stop being on your phone, that could be a sign that it's starting to affect you. And finally, if you're just developing feelings of anxiety, depression, and loneliness every single day and you don't really know why, it could be because of your social media usage, especially if you find that those feelings spike after you use it. So, if we know social media is affecting us negatively, how do we rethink our relationship with social media? We've got some tips and tricks to help you start setting those boundaries and rethinking that relationship that you have. A great way to start establishing boundaries and rethinking our relationship with social media is by reminding ourselves that social media is designed to be addictive. These apps are designed to keep us engaged because the longer you're engaged and you're using their apps, the more that they're getting out of you as a user. You're not fully at fault if you found yourself reliant on social media for this exact reason. There's thousands of people at these companies working to make these apps as addictive as they possibly can be. If you find yourself getting stuck in a constant doom scroll, it's not anything you're doing wrong. You're just kind of falling into the pattern that these companies want you to fall into. So knowing this, just like real relationships with people, it's important for us to set boundaries when we find them becoming toxic. You're more than allowed to use Instagram, to use Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, but it starts becoming a problem when we no longer have control over our own actions. Do you find yourself grabbing your phone whenever you're alone by yourself? Can you not have a thought without thinking about grabbing your phone first? That means it's time to start setting boundaries so that you can have more autonomy over your life versus the phone and social media apps having autonomy over you. It's important to remember that your relationship with social media is a real relationship. The interactions that you have with these apps, it goes back and forth. It can feel like our online worlds are not as real as our day-to-day lives, but studies can show us that the impact on our brain is exactly the same. Our brains really struggle to distinguish what we see on the screen versus what is actually happening in our real life. Have you ever seen a video that was pretty upsetting to you, and then you felt in your body very upset or distressed by it? That's because our brains can't distinguish what they're seeing on the screen as something that isn't happening in real life. And that can have a lot of negative effects on you if your feed is constantly giving you negative content, which is what a lot of social media is designed to do because it keeps you online and it keeps you scrolling. It's important to remember that what we consume and what we create online can impact us directly. It's not just existing in this online sphere. We carry it with us day to day. So now that we're aware that negative information online can impact us, we have to use that to learn to become an active participant. So what does that mean? Being an active participant is somebody who's aware of the content they are consuming online and choosing and curating what that content is. So Reassess who and what kind of content you are consuming. If you see something pop up on your feed, don't just keep scrolling. Ask yourself, does it make you feel good? Do you find yourself comparing yourself to another person? Is the content that you're seeing making you feel worse, anxious, or sad after viewing it? All these things are great questions to ask yourself when you're looking through content. And if you find yourself being like, yeah, I don't particularly like this content that I'm following, I feel kind of bad after watching it, I feel negative, do a deep clean of your social media accounts. Remove and unfollow any accounts that are causing you harm, even ones that you might miss. Now, this isn't to say that it's not important to get different perspectives online, and not everything you see online is going to fully match with your own ideas and your personality. That's fine. We're not asking you to remove any sort of outside opinions or things that might challenge you. However, if one account is specifically causing you distress time and time and time again, it's probably in your best interest to remove that from your feed. Another way that you can start to break the toxic relationship that you have with social media is by giving yourself breaks from the apps. Designate time during the week to disengage from social media. Now, you don't have to do this all at once. You don't have to decide that all day Tuesday, I'm not going to use social media. That can be pretty challenging, especially if you are really connected to your phone. However, maybe taking an hour once a week can turn into taking an hour twice a week, just to disengage from social media and not use the apps. Once you're able to slowly start taking more and more time away, maybe you can practice taking a whole week or a month away from the iPhones. At least have this new update where you can remove apps from your phone screen, but they're still located on your phone. And on just moving it away from your point of view might keep you from using it as much as well. With this, you can start to create a routine for yourself. It's important to tap into your feelings after using social media and see if it's time to take a step back from the platforms you use. Checking in with yourself is the thing that will let you know if you're starting to fall back into that toxic cycle of using social media without really knowing why you're doing it, or using it when it's making you feel negatively. So if you're in a group of people, this is a chance for you to answer some questions that we have discussing setting those boundaries with social media. If you're watching this alone, you can also take out a piece of paper and a pen, or type this up on your computer and respond to these questions, and think of it as just a reflective exercise. The question is, how has your experience with social media influenced your mental health? Think about this in terms of how you first started in your relationship with social media and maybe where you are now. Our second question asks you, what are some ways you can notice when social media may be affecting you negatively? Think about this in terms of how you might react mentally, but also how you might react physically, how your relationships with others might change from day to day. Next, I want you to think about how you would integrate boundary setting in your relationship with social media. This is going to look different from person to person, but think about what would work for you. A lot of times, our social media use can feel compulsory because all of our friends are also online. So I want you to think, how do the expectations of others influence your behaviors on social media, and how can you set healthy boundaries with them? If your friends all have a group text and you feel like you can't walk away from your phone, how can you maybe set healthy boundaries with that group of friends and kind of let them know that it's affecting you negatively? Or is there a reason that you're posting the things that you're posting online to get the attention of others? Finally, I want you to think about what role mindfulness practices could play when interacting with social media. Mindfulness in the terms of checking in with your body, how you feel after consuming content, how you feel when you are using social media, really just tapping in if you're ending up in a kind of constant scroll with yourself and with your own thoughts. And then I want you to think, can you become a mindful consumer of content? What would that look like for you? And what steps would you need to take? Thanks for joining us for this presentation today. Just a reminder that you can call the Counseling Center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 404-413-1640. If you find that you're struggling, please reach out to us and you can set up an appointment with a counselor. We also are available 24/7, as mentioned, to help in any sort of situation. You can follow the prompts on the phone to speak with a counselor. Speaking of social media, if you're looking for more positive content to follow, make sure you're following Be Well Panthers. We post information about all sorts of events going on. We offer mental health help. We offer psychoeducation. There's a ton of really awesome things that are happening on the Be Well Panthers Instagram account. Coming from all of our departments, student health clinic, the counseling center, student victim assistance, nutrition services, rec services, and more. So give us a follow. Thank you for joining us for this presentation, and we hope to see you at another one soon. Have a great day, Panthers.